Hello everybody and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today we'll be talking about Lightyear and how it is not doing well at the box office at all. Right now I am currently in Dallas, so apologies for the weird setup. Hopefully the audio is coming through okay. But yeah, I was seeing this news get updated. People were tagging me on Twitter about it as well. So I'm going to do a full box office breakdown for the Geeks and Gamers channel a little later today, maybe even into the night. And I'm going to do a full box office breakdown for this channel either tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm traveling back home tomorrow, and so depending on when I'm able to get up in the morning, how much time I might actually have is going to determine whether or not I get the video out either in the morning, evening, or Tuesday morning at the very least. So again, apologies for delays in the video, but let's go ahead and talk about this news. Lightyear not doing well at all, at least according to these numbers. So before getting further though, please make sure you smash that like button, loud that fire button if you're watching over on Odyssey, and also make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with that bell notification. That way you know every time a video or live stream goes live on the channel. So as you can see from this article from Deadline, dinosaurs toss Lightyear out of orbit at weekend box office as Jurassic World Dominion feast on $67 million plus 4-day Saturday PM update. So they have been following these numbers, and I kind of had an early indication that this was going to happen when the Thursday numbers came out and had the Wednesday, Thursday premiere numbers for Lightyear, and it only made about $5 million, and it was significant because when you compared it to Top Gun Maverick and also to Jurassic World Dominion, it was actually third place. So for a brand new film for one of the biggest properties from Disney Pixar in the Toy Story franchises, Lightyear is obviously connected to, that's a pretty big deal for this film to not be doing nearly as well. They had a lot of projections putting this film as being one of the big box office summer hits, and obviously we're still a little early as far as whether or not the film is going to lose money or make money. But if this film has a similar budget as we've seen with other big animated projects from Disney Pixar, which is that $150 to $200 million range, then we're looking at a situation here for Disney where they might be out of several $1 million. But we'll have to, of course, wait and see for those numbers to actually update. So as you can see here from Deadline, in a Saturday matinee brawl at the box office between Disney's Pixar Space Ranger and Universal Amblin Dinosaurs, the prehistoric beast win. Industry estimates show Jurassic World Dominion swallowed up Saturday over Lightyear, $21.8 million to $15.7. Now this is insane because Saturday is typically the day where a lot of families will go to the theater, especially in those matinee shows. The fact that the industry right now is saying that Dominion in its second weekend, which it's going to see a drop-off from its last weekend, it's going to probably have a pretty big drop-off to say the very least. The fact that it's doing as well as it is to even beat a brand new film that is supposed to be appealing to younger audiences, is supposed to be appealing to the family audience, this is just, again, speaking volumes, I think, as far as where the current state of Disney is, where the current state of Disney Pixar is, and the fact that this is really their first Disney Pixar film to be released in theaters since Onward, which was a massive, almost $200 million flop because of it coming out right at the very beginning of the pandemic. This is not a very good look. This is not a strong start for them. This is not exactly what they would want to happen in this early box office season, especially since Disney has several films still yet to come out. So could this be an indication of things going on, or could it be more specific to the film itself? Obviously, there is some controversy around the actual film as far as pushing certain concepts of identity politics. I've not seen the film yet myself. I know that Josiah Rises, shout out to Josiah Rises of Geeks and Gamers, I know that he's talked about this quite a bit, about how the film really does, fall more so into this type of, politicking, as it were. So that would make a lot of sense as to why the film maybe isn't doing nearly as well. Not to mention, of course, the fact that Tim Allen is not a part of this film doing the voice of Buzz Lightyear. He is the one that created this character. He is the one that is the iconic voice of the character, to the point where you even have people who have not been involved in any of these culture wars calling out on Twitter and social media, trying to say that, this is ridiculous that they haven't brought him back and that they instead put Chris Evans in that place instead. And so, it's one thing for them to try to have a younger actor, a younger voice actor, to do a younger Buzz Lightyear character or something to that effect. But when you take Chris Evans, who is the polar opposite of Tim Allen from like a political spectrum, it does definitely have a bit of a message, or it seems to have a bit of a message attached to it. And so, again, could this be impacting the box office? It very well could. Could it be that this is the fifth film in the franchise as far as major, box office releases, not counting any, straight to DVD or anything like that releases? and maybe people are just getting tired of it. It could be that as well. There's a lot of other factors going on that could explain why it's not doing well, but the fact still remains, this is not looking good for them at all. It says right here, Lightyear will be lucky to hit $50 million for their 3-day. These estimates do not come from Disney, however, and so it would not surprise me if Disney either comes out with more conservative numbers to try and basically lessen the blow, say, oh yeah, you know, we were only expecting to get 45 million, and then if they do get to 50, they'll say, oh look, it exceeds expectations. But a couple things that are worth noting here. One, Disney doesn't seem to have been ready for this film to not be a huge success, and two, the media is actually holding their feet to the fire here, or at the very least talking about the numbers and not trying to spin it in any other way. It goes on to talk about here saying, if it has a robust Father's Day, as Dominion will also steal the Friday to Sunday frame with 58.3 million, a 60% drop, not far from the 2018 Fallen Kingdom second weekend 58% decline. So even though it's going to be a steeper decline likely for Dominion than Fallen Kingdom was, you're still going to have a relatively strong hold. But keep in mind that Dominion still made around, what, $1.3 billion or so. So you're looking at this movie as having that potential still to cross that $1 billion mark. So again, I'll be covering the full box office on this to see exactly where the film is, where it stands into its budget. Obviously, we'll be able to do the week 2 drop-off numbers and do some projections for this movie too. But, you know, we're going to have to wait for those numbers to get released in just a little bit. But this is just not looking good at all for Lightyear. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that obviously are quite happy that this film is not doing well, and also it looks like the Access Media is not quite understanding what's going on here. As it says, seriously, a mind-boggling result here given the great diagnostics on Lightyear. 61% gave it a definite recommend to Dominion's 57% in its opening weekend. Well, also, keep in mind that even though that might be better than Dominion, 61% is not all that great. It's not that great of a number. I mean, when almost a little over half of the people going to see the movie say, I definitely think you should go see it, that's kind of an early indication that there might be something wrong with the film itself. It goes on to say, plus Lightyear scored 85% positive to Dominion's 73% in the exits. We've heard grumbles that some of the diehard Toy Story fans are put off by Chris Evans as the voice of Buzz Lightyear versus the franchise vet Tim Allen. However, the exits don't necessarily show anything negative in that regard. 20% came out for Evans versus 16% for Chris Pratt in Dominion's opening weekend. 45% of those polled bought tickets to Lightyear because it was part of a franchise they loved, which isn't far from the 43% who bought tickets to Dominion. Yes, but keep this in mind. Dominion getting 43% because people love the franchise versus Lightyear, Toy Story, a beloved franchise. To me, I think this should be a kick in the face to Disney and to the Access Media, because this to me tells you a couple things. One, if this is on the same level of the Jurassic World franchise, because I'm sure they're going to try and say it's the Jurassic Park franchise, so it includes the originals, but let's be honest, the only really good Jurassic Park film was the first one. So the fact that you're looking at this being in a similar situation after several films that have not been all that great, you know, you look to films like Jurassic World 3, which, you know, wasn't all that great, Jurassic Park 3, which wasn't all that great, Jurassic World, which was, yeah, it was kind of like a Force Awakens in a lot of ways, so there were some things that were worth talking about, but for the most part, it was a bland movie. It was interesting to see where they were going with it, and then we saw where they were going with it, and Fallen Kingdom was trash, and then the recent one, Dominion, is also trash as well in different ways, and so if you look to that, and that is your comparison, and you're saying, well, it's better than Dominion, that's not a very good metric. That's not a very good antidote to add to it, because what that still shows is that there's a lot of issues going on with this movie to the point where it has fallen to the point where it's the same type of, and really that's, I would say, within what margin of error territory. So you're seeing that the franchise of Toy Story has fallen so far as to now be in the same category as Jurassic World, and I don't think that's a good look at all. And I think that the other thing that this kind of points out is, you know, it might not even just be Lightyear. I think this is also kind of a bit of a reprimand from Toy Story 4. Keep in mind, Toy Story 3 was a perfect ending to that entire story. It was a perfect ending to that trilogy, which in my head, it's just a trilogy. 4 just came out, and it was like, okay, this film has no reason to exist. All they had decided to do with this film is retcon Little Bo Peep's character, and it was very clear they were trying to push certain messaging with that movie and just try to make some extra bucks, as of course this film here also has a lot of inklings of that, in addition to trying to push certain identity politics stuff in the film too. So this is obviously terrible news for them. It's going to be interesting to see where these numbers end up falling. If this ends up being a box office flop, again, still a little too early to tell where this film is going to end up falling with it, but it'll be interesting to follow nonetheless. But what are y'all's thoughts about this? Are you surprised that Lightyear is not doing well, and that in its opening weekend, it is likely to end up being second place to Dominion? And even if it does get first place, maybe only beating Dominion's second weekend by about maybe 5-10 million or so. It'll be interesting to see these numbers once they eventually come out. And again, if you want to see more coverage of that, check out the video that I'll do in a little bit for the Geeks and Gamers channel, and then I'll do a full box office breakdown with all the charts and all that stuff for this channel on either Monday evening or on Tuesday morning. So anyway, what are y'all's thoughts? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, smash that like button, slap that fire button on Odyssey. Y'all all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless.
And now for a huge special shout out to my June Keeper of the Bifrost and Chosen of Valhalla level members: Brandon, let's go Brandon, Christopher Bowman, Garrett Searles, Hymir Irie Hymason, Jeff Toon, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Laura, the Modern Major General Story, Father Luca, Mike Jackson for the win, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Orange Chat Reviews. Make sure to check out his YouTube channel. He just hit 1,000 subscribers. Rosetta Allen, check out her YouTube channel as well. Stan Andrian, Miss Martin Muses, check out her YouTube channel. And also, of course, the amazing Tina B, Empress of the Universe. Check out her YouTube channel, especially her show Soup to Nuts that she does with the amazing Stephanie B. Thank y'all very much for supporting me over on Patreon. And a huge shout out to all of my subscribers as well over on Subscribestar at these levels: Matt 317, Storm Tracker, the R, Fast Reaction, Mr. Roy, and also, of course, J-Rod, the Beer Guru, and ZK-Man. You guys are amazing. And a last shout out to my locals members. We have Miss Minnesota Hockey Fan. How about a hockey player? We have Mike Jackson for the win once again, Robert Barnes, and Brett D90. So I want to say thank you again for being my members at the Keeper of the Bifrost level and the Chosen of Valhalla levels. If you want your name specially shouted out at the end of every single video and live stream, please check out my links at the Patreon and Subscribestar. You can find those in the top link in the video description, the Willow link, as I like to call it, where you can also get access to things like giveaways, things like the podcast I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger, and other cool stuff like that. Anyway, thank you all very much for supporting me for the month of June. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless.